Hi everyone and welcome to the first ever Valley PBS Family Circle Fall Festival. I'm Robert Mollison, Membership Director here at the station. We have such an exciting lineup. You'll learn to create some special fall crafts with Miss Readwright, make authentic homemade pizza in our very own kitchen, take an adventure with our friends at Fresno Chaffee Zoo, and explore science with the Fresno State Physics team. Not only that, but you'll find out how you can join the Valley PBS Family Circle and receive some exciting thank you gifts right in time for the upcoming holidays. So let's get started right now with a familiar face to many who enjoy learning about art each weekday with Miss Readwright in the PBS classroom. Miss Readwright, I'm saying hi to you.
Thank you, Robert. I wanted to welcome everyone here to the Valley PBS Family Circle Fall Festival. I'm Mrs. Readwright. You might recognize me from the morning show where we are at 7:45 teaching art and artists to small children. Today, though, we're going to be doing a crafty corner. We're going to be making lace leaves. Now, these lace leaves, one started out just as one leaf. And as I kept adding them to the other leaves that I created, it made this bundle of leaves that are a great addition to your fall decor. So I used fall colors, but I also started making these ocean colored ones. So you can pick what color you would like for your lace leaves. Let me show you how it's done. I brought in some real leaves, but the real leaves are a little difficult to trace around and it's hard for children to do these shapes. This shape is great, but it's not very big, so when you go to do the veins of the leaf, it's hard to get their scissors in there. So let's begin. I first take my paper template and I set it on top of two pieces of paper that are the same size. I will trace around the leaf with my pencil. And you can have an adult hold your shape for you while you trace. Then you will cut around, and sometimes people like to have a paper clip hold them together while they cut them. I have older hands, and my hands have been cutting a long time, so I can get around here just by pinching it and going around, down the stem, and cut it off. I decide which I would like as the background color and set it down. Let me take this out of the way so it's not distracting. Now, I will use a piece of chalk. You could use your pencil if you would like. And I'm going to go from the stem to the tip. And then I will do a vein, and a vein, and a vein. And right across from it, a vein, and a vein, and a vein. Now I take my scissors, and I start up. And I cut around my chalk line. I like to make a little bubble at the end. I think it makes it look fancy, and you know, I'm a girl who likes fancy. So I'll go around here, and I'm moving pretty quickly. If you are a cutter who has only been cutting for 3, 4, or 5 years, you will probably go slower. And you know what? It's even easier with smaller scissors, because then you can make the corners easier. If you don't want these little round balls at the end of each of the veins, just leave them off, and you can hole punch out some round circles to add at the end. You'll see that I'm saving these because later we are going to be making a fall banner, and we will add these as the last two pennants on our banner. I'm just going to go around this, and you'll notice that I am going to just add glue to the back on the chalk side so I can add it to my leaf. I go up, covering each, sorry tablecloth, should have put some newspaper under it. I'll set it up on here. Is that the right side? And put it on, and there it is. My leaf that will be used on my banner. My second one I could cut out, but I can cut a lot of other ones. You make sure you make as many as you'd like. Will you make a lot to make a lace leaf, or will you make 2 to put on your banner? You decide which works out best for you. Now these are really useful too if you want to use them as place cards at your dinner table. If I want to set this, I can put just a little piece of clay or Play-Doh behind it and set this on here and put people's names if you want to assign seats at your dinner parties. But these fall leaves are beautiful to have, and I might even make these make into their leaf lace. You notice I just glue on the top, put one on, glue on the top, and put one on. And I'm trying not to put any leaf right next to each other that's the exact same color. Thank you for joining me here at the Crafty Corner, because I want you to know that was so much fun, and I want you to stay tuned because you're going to go to the PBS kitchen and see what they're making there. Thank you for coming to the Fall Festival. Have a great time the rest of the evening. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Miss Readwright. Looks like you're having so much fun, but we're going to be having some fun right here at the Valley PBS kitchen. We have some really special guests here for our Valley PBS Fall Festival. We have Paul and Carl Rana, and they have a very special place in the Valley history. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your guys' family and what you guys are known for?
Well, my grandfather came from the East Coast and came to Fresno and opened up a pizza parlor in Fresno, which was on Palm Avenue. And that was what got pizza started in the valley here. And so here Carl's going to show us how we start off with the dough.
So your family brought pizza to the valley. So
Yeah.
on behalf of all of us, all the boys and girls are at home, I want to say thank you. So thank you for that.
We grew up in this business, so it's kind of
Yes.
second nature.
And then after my grandfather started it, my dad came into the business and helped him out. And then Carl's dad came in as well. And my grandfather retired. Then my dad, Pete, and Morris Rana had the Italian kitchen and took it on from
So
there.
pizza's in your blood.
in our
yeah.
blood,
So
yeah.
you're showing us how to make pizza at home. So all you
Yeah,
boys
I
and
think
girls can, with
real
your families,
simple.
can
Yep.
get together in the kitchen and make some pizza together. So what do you got going?
So I got going here. Basically, we have regular flour. We put in some jar active yeast, a little bit of salt. We'll use a little bit of olive oil, okay? And this all gives it a little texture because we make our pizzas in pans. You know, we also have another oven that we can make them on the bricks. And then we kind of put in, like, for every 2 cups of flour, put in about a cup of water.
So now you boys and girls,
I'm just gonna go ahead
this is
and
something they can do with their families, so mom and
Yes.
dad can help them with the measurements and everything,
Right.
but it's something everybody can kind of
Do.
do together.
This is
you
how
can make-
it's done before the machines
Machines.
that we have now that mix it.
You're
Yeah.
doing it old school.
Exactly.
I like it.
So
So
when we were little, we add a little bit of flour. You get your texture just right. So it's a flour, water, yeast, salt, a little olive oil.
and how does it feel? How does that?
You get it to well, you know how Play-Doh, silly putty Play-Doh,
Okay.
nice pliable piece of dough. You don't want to get too soft, you want it too hard.
Right.
And then what we do, we knead it. What I'm doing in here, I'm just mixing it all together by hand. And you don't need a machine, so you kids want to make mud pies, you can make dough. Real simple.
There you go.
You know, really easy. So once you get it like this, and it's all one thing, I put a little bit more flour on it. I kind of dip it in there, we do. And what we'll do is we'll roll it in a ball, knead it like this, put it in a ball.
Uh-huh. So it's, yeah, just like Play-Doh.
Yeah, it's like Play-Doh. And this part will be set aside, and we call it proofing. It will proof, it'll raise, take about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes 2 hours, depending how warm or how cold
Yeah,
it is.
right.
Once it proofs, get second double size, punch it down, it'll proof one more time, then you're ready for that.
And we'll see. We're going to see what it's going to look like after a little bit of time.
Sure.
And this is what it's going to
After-
turn in.
after
How
it's
long
proof?
until you're done with that does it turn into this little?
About 4 hours?
Yeah.
About 4 hours.
Four
So
hours.
you can go and watch a little bit more of your television. You can go do other things,
Yeah.
Right.
and then leave this to the side. Do you have to leave it in the refrigerator or anything?
You
or
can
just-
leave
No.
it, depending on the time of year, you can leave it on the counter.
Okay.
And it'll rise.
Yeah, the yeast need temperature. So the yeast is about 70, 80, 90 degrees. They're going to work really well.
Excellent.
And so it's all, the hotter it is, the quicker it'll yeast.
And you can kind of get everything else ready that you're going to
Yeah.
be doing a little
Yes.
bit later on. Well, this is kind of setting.
And that's the setting to make pizza. That's the dough.
Excellent. Excellent. So now there's different types of pizza. So is this, like, I've heard of New York style, I've heard of Chicago. So there's all these different types of pizzas. Is this the same for all of it?
Yeah, it can be. It can be. The only difference is you have different types of flours. And if they want to use gluten, non-gluten, doesn't matter. Just still going to use the same basic principles. deep dish pizza, which is Chicago.
Yes.
Which would be the size of that pan like this.
It's like a calzone, those big fat
Regular
ones.
Right.
pizzas,
Right.
we all know East Coast pizza's thin crust.
Thin crust,
And
so-
we do thin
yeah.
crust in the pan.
So all you boys and girls, there's different types of pizzas, but you can kind of make it however you like. You can well, we're going to be seeing how it's done, but the flour is basically the same, and then you
Right.
kind of adjust it from there.
Correct.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're going to be back here in the Valley PBS kitchen in just a little bit and continue making our delicious pizza. But for right now, we're going to be tossing over to some more friends who are here visiting us from Chaffee Zoo, and they've got some special friends of their own here. So take it away, guys.
Thanks so much, Robert. That looked really tasty. And I'm Brandy Gamoning with Fresno Chaffee Zoo. I'm here with zookeeper Kyler. And we have another friend here who looks like he's having a snack. Tell us about who you have here, Kyler.
Yeah, hi, this is Tony, and Tony is a blue-tongued skink. Now, it is actually mealtime for Tony, so he gets these nice little mealworms, and he's happy to eat them right up. Now, blue-tongued skinks actually come from Australia, and they are a ground species, so they're going to be living right in the ground in the leaf litter and amongst the bushes and stuff on the ground, and they're going to be spending most of their day searching for food.
Yeah, and I can see, so you have mealworms you mentioned, and what else is he eating?
You also got lettuce. So these guys are omnivores, so that means they like to eat a lot of plants and vegetables. Now their teeth are actually pretty blunt, they're not super sharp, and that's great for chewing up plants, and they like to eat fruit, berries, they like flowers. They also like a lot of insects like crickets and mealworms, of course, and snails, which makes them an awesome, very excited for this, an awesome pest control for a lot of people's homes.
Oh, that's really interesting. So now when I see him eat, I can see that blue tongue that I assume is the origin of his name. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So blue-tongued skinks, you can see his tongue stick out right here. They get their name from that fantastic blue tongue that they actually use as a sort of defense. So they're going to be sticking out that tongue and hissing if they feel scared by a predator. Let's say a kookaburra, or even somebody's dog comes up to one of these guys too fast. They're going to hiss, they're going to puff up their body, and they're going to stick out that tongue. And hopefully that scares away the animal long enough for these guys to scurry off into a bush and find somewhere safe.
Okay. So what else would he be worried about besides a kookaburra, or what are some other animals that he might worry about in his natural habitat?
Well, humans actually are a big threat to these guys since they live in a lot of urban areas. And that means that they have to watch out for cars, and they have to watch out for cats. They have to watch out for just people walking around. Also, their head kind of looks a lot like a death adder head, which is actually a type of very venomous snake
Oh,
from
wow.
Australia. And if you can't see the rest of the body, you see they have these really short legs. They can actually look quite a bit like a snake. And so you want to make sure that you're not dealing with a really dangerous snake. And a lot of times people actually will hunt them for that accidentally.
And is this is he full grown? Will he get bigger?
He is full grown. He's actually an older blue-tongued skink, so he's about as big as he's going to get. Blue-tongued skinks are actually one of the largest skink species, which means that they're
Oh, wow.
pretty big lizards.
Yeah, he looks pretty big. So can people see Tony on exhibit at the zoo?
Not Tony. He actually has some relatives, though, if you go into our reptile house, which unfortunately right now is closed. But inside our reptile house, we do have skinks. We have prehensile-tailed skinks, which actually live up in the trees, opposite of what Tony would do living on the ground.
Thanks, Kyler. Well, as Kyler mentioned, the reptile house is currently closed, and we're taking a number of modifications at the zoo, both for animal, staff, and guest health and safety. We hope that all of you Family Circle members will come out to Zoo Lights. We're really excited to welcome Daniel Tiger for another year for photos and socially distanced photos. We hear there are a number of exciting experiments going on, so we are excited to go take a look at that.
Hello, folks. Don't you enjoy animals? I enjoy animals too, but there's all kinds of physics associated with animals too. Like, let's start with something really simple to start with here. You see I got a bottle of water? Now everybody can go get a bottle of water somewhere. And you see how it rolls? And see how the water kind of stays in there? Well, I'm going to be interested in making a ramp. So I got this little book. So maybe you guys can go find something to make a ramp out of. And then I want you guys to get some stuff that you can roll down the ramp, like some cans of soup, okay? Maybe you won't have one of these, but I've got one of these. But maybe you'll have a piece of pipe you could roll down, and we're going to roll things down a ramp. So let's take a look. Let's aim them this way. Okay? So here's Don's ramp. So let's go back to that water bottle first and watch it roll. Now the first question I'm going to ask you guys, is the water rolling? We know the bottle's rolling, but is the water rolling? Did the water roll? No, the water just slid down the hill. Did you notice that? Right? The bottle actually rolled. Now, can of soup or things like this. We're going to roll those in a minute. Now, let me show you guys something to start with. I'm going to take two objects. You could probably tell they're identical in diameter. One's black, one's a kind of an amber, total solid wood. This is a big hoop. Now, they weigh the same. If I had them on a scale, they'd be identical. Now, I'm going to roll them down the hill. You ready? You guys got an idea which one's going to win? Ready, set, go. That guy won. Let's try this. You ready? Ready, set, go. That guy won, huh? Huh? Now, let me do something different. You guys are scientists. This is definitely a lot less weight, a lot lighter, okay? But does it kind of look like that one, right? So what's your prediction as scientists if I roll these down the hill? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Guy still won, didn't he? I bet you can predict this one. Does this one look like these? Right? So what do you think who's going to win? This guy going to win? Okay, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. All right, so you guys agree this solid thing is winning the race where these that are hoops are losing. Well, this is to do with what we call rotational inertia, the way mass is rotated around an axis of rotation. Now, let's get out things that you guys have at home, all right? You guys got a piece of pipe. Maybe your dad will cut you or mom will cut you. Look how that rolls down the hill, okay? Now, what does this piece of pipe look more like? Does it look more like a hoop or like a solid thing? So what do you expect to happen, guys, if I take the piece of plastic now and raise the solid disc, all right? Ready, set, go. Solid disc still wins. What do you expect to happen if I take this and race it with this? Aren't those both hoops? Let's see if they come out in a tie, all right? You ready? Ready, set, go. Tied. See that? Here's the rule. Things that have the same shape, irregardless of their mass, roll the same, okay? So this one was a solid. Now let's get to our cans of soup. Now what I have here is a solid condensed soup. You guys are familiar with that? Solid. And then I have a can of liquid soup, a broth, all right? Then I also had another can. This was minestrone, so I liked it. I ate it. So it's gone, right? So now it's an empty can, all right? So let's see, I've got solid soup, liquid. Remember, I've raced those kind of things in an empty can. I need you as scientists to observe what you did and figure out who's going to win the race, okay? All right, so let's see. Let's start with the liquid here, and let's start with the solid can of soup. Let's see who wins. Ready, set, go. Liquid wiped them out, didn't it? Now let's switch it around real quick to make sure. Ready, set, go. Liquid wiped them out. That solid soup won, or lost. Now, who's going to win between these? You guys ready? You guys predicting this? Did that win? Isn't this like a hoop? Exactly. So we're going to send it over to Bob right now, and we'll see you after another segment here in a little while. One of my former students is going to talk to you.
Thanks, Don. We sure enjoy having our friends from the Fresno State Physics team visit the studios. They always have such fun and interesting experiments. Now, I'd like to tell you about a very special membership level we have here at Valley PBS called the Family Circle. For only $10 per month donation, your whole family is invited to at least one exciting event per month. As you can see on the screen, Family Circle does all kinds of activities. One month, we might learn about reptiles, another, bubble science. We focus on amazing learning opportunities for our Valley families to explore places they might not get to go to. And even better, sometimes you get to meet one of your favorite PBS kid characters like Clifford, the big red dog, Curious George, and even Daniel Tiger. Joining is so easy. You can visit our website at valleypbs.org/Family Circle, and all the information you need is right there. Even COVID-19 hasn't stopped our Family Circle adventures. We've recently had tours at the Fresno State Farm, Castle Air Museum, the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, and we'll continue our virtual tours until we all can meet again in person. For just that $10 a month, you'll get to select between one of these 3 sets of workbooks. We have the Variety Trio, the Pinkalicious Pack, and my personal favorite, the Curious George Collection. Inside each one of these workbooks, you'll find stickers, coloring, activities, games, just hours of fun. So don't miss your opportunity to sign up today. Now, even more exciting, if you become a Family Circle member now, we're going to offer you tickets to Zoo Lights at the Chaffee Zoo in December, where you can see all the incredible light displays, visit the animals, but even better, you can meet our very own Daniel Tiger. Tickets are limited, so consider joining today. During this holiday season, Valley PBS wants you to know how important it is for us to help bring joy and comfort to our families across the region. What a great way to surprise your youngsters with a membership that will create memories for your whole family and support the quality educational programs you rely on right here on Valley PBS. We hope to welcome you to our Family Circle real soon. In the meantime, let's head back over to Miss Readwright in the Valley PBS classroom.
Thank you, Robert. Oh, Family Circle looks like so much fun. Now, I wanted to welcome you back to the second segment of the Crafty Corner for the Fall Festival. I am making this fall banner, and I use the word fall. You could make the word thanks, you could put the word joy, you don't have to have it be fall even. In the winter, you could put snowflakes at the end and put the word winter or whatever you would like. But this is just using a brown grocery bag. And I want to show you how to prepare that. I started cutting it off. You don't need the handles. So you cut the handles off. I've already cut part of them off so we don't spend time watching me to cut the handles off. Then there is the whole bottom that needs to be cut off. So you cut off a tiny sliver here and a tiny sliver here. You can slip your scissors in here. A grown-up may want to prepare this for their child to make the fall banner, or it's really a fun project to do together as the whole family. Each person could do one letter. You can figure out how you would like to do it. Then the bags always have a seam down the back. And you just cut down the back seam, and it ends up being 36 inches wide. So here's my bag ready to work. I would fold it in half. I used my iron and ironing board to get mine this flat. If you want to do that, do that. Here's mine that I did iron. Being 36 inches, I figured I want 6 banners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just used my ruler and I cut my first one at 6 inches. I'll mark this. Now this is another thing you may want to have a grown-up do, but I love using my paper cutter, but that's not fair to use something you may not have. So I'll cut all 6 pieces. I hold this one here, and I just follow that line and cut it. So you understand, you will cut this 6 pieces. The 6 pieces then need a little triangle cut out at the bottom. The best way to do that is to fold the whole piece in half and cut a triangle off the bottom. Alrighty, I thought I'd take a seat because we're going to do some close-up work here. Now that we have all the banner pieces cut, you can put your word on there, and I use capital letters because most of them are just straight lines. So I did the fall word using 1 big line and 2 small lines, and you notice that I have cut them already ahead of time, so they're ready to go. But then after I glue all of those on, I put the dots, and I wanted to show you how easy it is to make the border. I just hold it up to another one that I've already done, get my glue flowing, and I put the dots right across from the other ones. So they look equally spaced, and it looks like it's all part of the same banner. Then you pick up your polka dots made with your hole punch and just some extra paper, set it down on here. Now I want to show you what you would do as the final part. The leaves we made earlier, you would glue on one of the banners. So that's why you want to save out 2 of your best ones for the end pieces. After that, you will start out by using a piece of twine, put glue down the fold, place your string in there, and a little glue around the edge. Close it down, and I like to set a book on top to hold it down and make it stay glued close together. I'll move it down a little bit, do the same thing on each one, gluing in the middle of the fold, sandwiching in your twine, and closing it up after placing glue all the way around the edge. Do you see how easy this is? And especially if you're working with the teamwork and having people hold things for you or help you place the dots on the banner itself. Let me put this one in here. F-A-L-L, I want to keep my words together. Wait, what's that I smell? Oh, I think it's pizza. Let's see what's going on in the kitchen. Thank you for joining me in the Crafty Corner. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Readwright, and thank you for those amazing crafts. I'm sure all the boys and girls are having a fun time doing those at home. But we're back here at the Valley PBS kitchen with our guests Paul and Carl making our delicious pizza. So guys, what's next?
Okay, here's the dough after it's proofed. Of course, you can see it's doubled in size. So we take that and we go here to press it out like this, get it started.
And just using your fingers. Just
Yes,
hands
just
and
use it.
fingers.
Yes, hands and
Hand
fingers.
fingers, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, get a little more of that.
And is this where you
Okay.
said you can make it flat, as flat as you want or as thick as you want? Right
Yes,
here's
at
the
this
process.
point, yeah.
Yeah, this gets it started.
Excellent.
And you can roll it really thin, and depending, our technique's going to be with the pans, Italian kitchen style. But others are using bricks that are hot. The ovens are at 800 degrees, and but our oven's at 450 to 500, and it works really well.
Also, by the way, here's the pizza pans that we use. This pan alone is 60 years old. It's a sheet metal pan. And you notice how it's black. It's like a cast iron pan that is well seasoned.
Okay.
Yes, and so we
And
put
there's
those-
different types of pans you can use.
Right
as
now,
a
at
cooking
home, you
pan.
don't have one of these, but you can use an aluminum
Okay.
pan. Works well too. So we just get the pan oiled up.
All right.
It's all in prep. Basically,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that the pie fits snugly in
And
there.
if families wanted to, they can make little personal pizzas just like this.
Oh,
Just
exactly.
Make it a
You-
lot
you- you
smaller,
can
and
make it
everybody
any
in the
size
family
you
can
want,
get together.
correct.
And
Yeah, as
when
we
we get
said.
to the other part, we can see about toppings. But yeah, you can make little small personal
Even if you have a
pizzas.
rectangular aluminum pan, you can put it
Right.
in that as
Right.
well.
In square pan.
All the
then
boys and
all
girls
that
at
stuff's
school,
good.
I think they're used to getting some of those square pieces. I remember those.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The next technique that Paul's going to do basically is going to help expand the pie out so it fits into the pan.
Okay.
It also distributes the dough evenly by tossing it.
All right.
Okay, so when it gets to about that size,
Okay. And now, there it is.
now it's the top.
And this is the fun part. I'm sure all the parents at home are watching this going on.
Yeah, my turn. All right, that's fine. Get a little more velocity on it.
And don't
Get that thing
worry,
up
don't
there.
worry about the
No.
extra flour in
And-
the kitchen
It'll
going
go-
all over.
And
Yeah,
I
go
know
on.
there's a method to
We
the
don't clean
madness.
this kitchen up.
What is the purpose of this? What is this, expanding?
that
the-
expands
expand,
it out.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
it up.
It's not just for fun and spreading
Correct.
flour all over the
Exactly.
place. So make sure you stay controlled, boys and girls, with it. And you don't need to toss
man.
it too high up.
All right.
Yeah, but that brings it out, and that's what we used to do, and it was always a show. And
So then
Absolutely.
the next thing, we put the tomato sauce on.
you basically have crushed tomatoes. See, it's crushed tomatoes.
All right. Is this a secret family recipe there at the?
No, this is
No.
not now.
So you can use anything from the grocery store, any type of pizza
Oh, yeah.
sauce
Correct,
to
yes.
just top on there. Excellent.
Right.
Okay.
We like a flavorful tomato.
And what kind of cheese is that?
This is mozzarella cheese. Part
Mozzarella.
skim mozzarella cheese. And we always sliced ours because there's no waste. And the grinding of the cheeses you see now, it tends to be a little more wasteful. They don't control the depth of the thickness. And we're all about consistency on a pie.
And any deli can
Slice
slice
it for
this
you.
for you.
And boys and girls, you can use any cheese, right? That they want.
have
Is
it
there?
Yeah.
Can
We're
you
gonna
use any type of cheese?
Well, mozzarella is traditional.
It's
but if you
traditional.
want to use Parmesan, you want to use cheddar and things like that, you can. But for us, we're traditional.
They
It's mozzarella.
sell 3 and 5 blend Italian
Okay.
Yeah.
cheeses.
And then we got some pepperoni and we got
Salami,
some
yeah.
salami. Excellent.
Yeah, we're using a little
Yum.
uncured salami,
And you can
which
even
is
do
nice.
vegetarian pizzas.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
yeah, the toppings are up to you on what you
right.
would like to put on there.
And that's the neat thing about having personal pizzas is you can kind of make a variety and everybody can
Exactly.
or have their own style.
Paul and I,
Okay.
we grow our own oregano, and we dry it. This is homemade oregano, it's Italian oregano. Then we use a combination of garlic powder and a little pepper we put on. Then we finish it up with
the cheese.
Parmesan cheese. This is the traditional way the Italian kitchen pizzas were made back in
ready to go on the
1947.
oven.
I
there.
can't wait.
It's ready.
My stomach's
Ready.
already
Go.
starting to growl.
All right. It goes in.
Wonderful. All right. And so how long is it going to be in there?
By about 15 minutes.
15
12 to
minutes.
15, 12 to 15 minutes.
That's perfect because this is going to give us time now to go back and visit some of our friends there with the Fresno State Physics Department. They've got some more science projects, so take it away. Let's see what you got.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Haley. We're going to be doing science part 2 today. We're going to be talking about linear momentum. So this is pretty cool, but linear momentum uses 2 things. The first one is speed, and the second thing is mass. So you guys are probably used to hearing about weight, but we use mass in science. So I'm going to explain this. I have here a 1 kilogram brick. So if I were standing on Earth and I dropped this on my head, it would hurt pretty bad, right? If I were to go to the moon and I were to drop it on my head, it would fall slower, right? But it would still hurt. And if I were out in space, you've seen astronauts just floating around. If I were to hold that above my head and drop it, it wouldn't hit me. But if I do that same thing on all 3 locations and I were to right into my head, that would hurt really, really bad. But the difference is that mass is finite, meaning it does not change. Weight changes based on the gravity. So I'm going to show you guys. I'll get back to this a little bit later, but I have a basketball here and a tennis ball. They're both different masses. I think we can agree that the basketball has more mass, but I'm going to move on to something that's really cool called Newton's cradle. I have here 5 spheres that are the same mass. So with linear momentum, things move in a line and they move, right? So if I were to drop one of these spheres, one has to go on the other side because that linear momentum is being passed through the spheres into the other one. It's the same thing on the other side. Mother Nature calls for one to go on the other side if I drop one over here. Now the cool part is, if I do 2, 2 must go. Same on the other side. 2 must go no matter where I drop them from. Now, if I were to do 3, 3 still have to go. And same on the other side. The next thing I'm going to do though, I'm going to drop 2 from either side and we'll see what happens. That linear momentum is still being passed through the spheres and it's still causing it to move. Same thing with 2. And these are colliding, okay? That's 3 and 2, 3 and 2. So that momentum is still being transferred through the balls. But I have something cool to show you guys. Something else, something similar. This has 2 spheres. Now the difference between this one is I have a spring connecting them. So when I drop one ball, that linear momentum is going to be transferred through the spring. We'll see what happens. So it'll go. This one's going to start going. There's a pattern if you watch closely. So this one's going to slow down and this one's going to pick up. Now we're going to move the spring down so I can show you guys. Because the higher up that the spring is, the longer the period in between. So if I move it lower, it's going to go a little bit faster. You'll see the pattern a little bit better. Do it again. Now we see it going a little bit faster. This one's going to go next. That one's going to stop, and this one's going to go. That linear momentum is being passed and transferred through the spring. But let's go back to the basketball and the tennis ball. So remember here, this was a larger mass. This is a smaller mass. Oops, sorry. So I'm going to drop these at the same time from the same height. And I want you guys to watch what happens. We'll see if they fall at the same time, one falls slower or hits the ground sooner. 1, 2, 3. They hit the ground at the same time because our gravity pulls mass down at the same time. But if I were to drop the ball, the basketball, and with the tennis ball on top from the same height at the same time, we're going to see something pretty cool. This is going to be a collision and an explosion in linear momentum. The linear momentum transferred through the basketball to the tennis ball and exploded it out. So that was pretty cool. That's science, everybody. And that's linear momentum. It's physics. We'll pass this on to the Zoom. We'll see you later.
Wow, we love learning about science at Fresno Chaffee Zoo, right, Kyler?
A lot of what we do is science, so it's really important that we learn about all aspects of it.
And here we have another friend. Kyler, tell us a little bit about who you have here.
This is Ethel, and Ethel is a royal ball python. Now, royal ball pythons are really awesome snakes. They're in the constrictor family, so this includes boas and anacondas, and these animals are expert hunters. They blend in with their environment, and they will actually ambush their prey and then wrap around it in order to catch it.
Wow. And so is that kind of where the name comes from, or tell me a little bit about the name ball python?
Yeah, ball python, royal ball python, it actually has two reasons they get that name. First off, when these guys feel threatened, they are going to wrap themselves up into a ball with their head in the very middle in order to protect themselves. So if something like a lion or a leopard comes along, tries to eat one of these guys, they can actually just be rolled around, and that protects them. Now, the royal part of it comes because these guys are super docile snakes. They're very calm, they're nice to be held, they just like to chill.
I can see that.
Yeah, and so royalty, especially like Egyptian royalty, would actually wear these guys kind of like jewelry. And it would just kind of hang out on their bodies and really send a statement.
Yeah. So then how heavy is she, and is this full grown for her, or can she get bigger than this?
She's quite heavy. I'm not sure her exact weight, but she is full grown. These guys at their longest can get about 6 feet long. The average though is anywhere from about 3 feet to about 5 feet. And so yeah, she's full grown. However, snakes tend to grow throughout their lives, so she will just continue to shed and shed that nice old skin off and reveal her nice shiny scales.
Oh wow. How often do they go through that shedding?
It's pretty often, several times per year. And you can see she actually just shed right now, so she is gorgeous. She just came back from a shed, and so all that old skin is gone now.
So that will make her appear, that's why she looks maybe a little shinier. And
Absolutely, yeah. And when they do start to shed, snakes start to actually look blue. And then that skin will slowly start sloughing off, and they can actually rub up against rocks and branches and logs and stuff to get all of that skin off.
Okay, now the other thing I have to ask about, because I'm seeing her tongue just come out constantly, why does she do that?
That's a great question. So snakes have several different ways of finding their prey. Now, snakes with forked tongues like this, they actually will stick their tongue out and they're tasting the air. So little particles of scents and stuff are landing on those tongue tips. And then they pull that tongue in and it goes up into a hole in the roof of their mouth called a Jacobson organ. Now this organ actually will tell them which direction the scent is coming from. If there's more particles on one side of the tongue than the other, then that lets them know where the scent is coming from. And so it's a great way that helps them find their prey from a long distance. Now once they get up close, you may be able to see she has a whole bunch of pits in the front of her face. Now these are heat sensing pits, and she can actually sense the temperature of her prey and differentiate them between from the environment and the animal.
So that is kind of, that's her investigating, figuring out what's going on in her environment.
Exactly, yeah.
And finding her dinner, most importantly.
Yeah, I mean, you saw she was leaning out towards you for a long time there, and she must have liked what she was smelling.
Well, very cool. Thank you so much, Kyler. Thank you for sharing this with us. And let's check out what the Kraut brothers are doing.
Miss me? Woo! Uh-oh. King cobras will even eat their own kind. Okay, I've got a plan. Uh-oh, he's way bigger than me. What do you say we call it a draw, buddy? I mean, you're the real king. I give! Don't give up so fast, bro. 2 king cobras are better than 1.
Way to go! That was cool!
Yeah, this suit is awesome. Hey, look who's up. Finally, we can get back to normal size.
Great! And then there's something you've just got to see.
Wow, those Kraut brothers sure love all animals, especially snakes. Huh. Well, now I'd like to tell you about a very special membership level we have here at Valley PBS called Family Circle. For $10 per month donation, your whole family is invited to at least one exciting event per month. As you can see on the screen, Family Circle does all kinds of activities. One month we might learn about reptiles, another bubble science. We focus on amazing learning opportunities for our Valley families to explore places they might not get to go to. And even better, sometimes you get to meet one of our favorite PBS characters like Clifford the Big Red Dog, my favorite Curious George, and everybody's favorite Daniel Tiger. Joining is so easy. You can visit our website at valleypbs.org/Family Circle, and all the information you need is right there. Even COVID-19 hasn't stopped our Family Circle adventures. We've recently had tours at Fresno State Farm, Castle Air Museum, and Fresno Chaffee Zoo. And we'll continue our virtual tours until we can all meet up again in person. But we even have a bigger announcement. If you join Family Circle for just those $10 a month, not only will you get those workbooks, but we're going to get you tickets to Zoo Lights in December at Chaffee Zoo. That's right, Zoo Lights at Chaffee Zoo for just $10 a month Family Circle membership. You get the workbooks and you get tickets for you and your family to the Chaffee Zoo's Zoo Lights in December. So don't miss this opportunity to sign up for Family Circle today. When we say Family Circle is about family, we mean it. Because with your Family Circle membership, you'll also receive access to Passport, which opens a vault of over 15,000 programs that you and your entire family can enjoy. That's right. Family Circle membership includes your choice of one of these 3 amazing workbooks for the kids, tickets to Zoo Lights at Chaffee Zoo, and a subscription to Passport. So don't miss out and take advantage of all the amazing benefits Family Circle has to offer. Now, let's go see what our friends at the Fresno State Physics Department are up to.
Thanks, Robert. Welcome back for our third and last segment in the science window, right? Now, you guys have heard of electricity, I know, right? Have you guys ever pulled a sweater out of the dryer and it all sticks together, or gone down a slide and shocked your buddy? That's static electricity. Now I can show that by taking a little wooden cup, a paper cup, a sock, and a plastic pipe, and I'm actually going to charge this up, and I'm going to move that cup without touching it. Look at that. And this is not Harry Potter, this is physics. And the reason is positives like negatives and negatives like positives. Opposites attract. You guys will find that out when you get married one day, all right? So it turns out electricity's positive and negatives. That's what we call static electricity, right? You can also take this, charge it up, and put it across your hair. You ever done that in your sister, your brother, right? And they can feel it, can't they? They can feel it because all your little hair follicles are doing this. They're saying, oh, get that out of here. I want to get away from it. Exactly. That's why it feels that way. Now, this time of year, I know a lot of you guys are out going to do Christmas lights, right? And especially you older folks know this. You go down to the store and you buy these Christmas lights and you plug them in and you get it all rigged up and it looks really cool. And then one stinking light bulb goes out and the whole thing dies. You ever had that happen? I know you have, huh? Well, I'm going to explain that to you today so you can look and be careful about what you purchase. There's two ways to wire lights. You can wire them in series or in parallel. Now, the series is not the good way. The parallel is the good way. Now, I've got two light bulbs here. You see how I have them rigged up? Two light bulbs are the same kind of light bulb. Here's where I can plug it in on that one. And here's where I can plug it in on this one. So let's go ahead and plug them in first. And I want you guys to observe some stuff, all right? So let's plug in this one, see what happens. Okay, look at that one. Okay, take a look at that. Then I'm going to plug in the other one, which has the same bulb size. You see, they're the same bulbs and everything, same fixture, but they're wired a little differently now. Whoa! Is that brighter? Does everybody agree? That's brighter, isn't it? Now, let's do something else. So that one is brighter. We noticed that. Now, wonder about, let's go back and plug this one in. This one is kind of puny and weak, right? Well, it's got another problem. Watch what happens when I just loosen one of them. That's the bad guy, huh? This is our series circuit because no matter which one I take out, they both go off, don't they? Now, we'll come back and examine the circuits in a second. Now, the other one is a parallel circuit, okay? And I'm hoping you guys are looking at these, and definitely with their camera from above, you can start looking at the wiring and start identifying. Now, that one is definitely brighter. What do you think is going to happen when I loosen one of the bulbs? Is that other one going to go out? No. Look at that. And then when I turn it on, and I can go the other way too, huh? And it goes off. And then it comes back on. All right, now we see that not only when they're wired in parallel, they're brighter and more intense, but they also are wired in a way that different light bulbs can go out and the whole string goes out. Now, let's take a look at the science. Let's take a look at the wires. Both the circuits have two wires coming into them. And you can see how these two wires split and go on each side of the light fixture. Then they continue on and go over to here, okay? So those wires continue on. So you see the idea is, even if this burns out, that wire's still connected to the next bulb. This is what we call wired in parallel. Now look at this one. This one, of course, is the cheap way to do it. That's why they do it this way. You see how I split the wire, and I took one of the wires, and I just carry it down to the end. Whichever one is down to the end, and that's how you'll notice it when you look at the ones you buy. And then look at this, how it goes through. Here's the difference. This actually uses the element to conduct the electricity through. So if I take that out of the circuit, right, it can't conduct, so that one doesn't get any electricity either, right? No electricity whatsoever. So here's your secret. Parallel last longer, all light up, and are more intense, aren't they, right? And you know the good thing is, you guys can also use heat to make pizza, because I think you guys are about to head over and eat some pizza. All right, we'll see you over there.
Thank you, Don, and we are here for the grand finale of our pizza experience. I'm so excited, I can already smell it. So guys, take it away.
This is what everybody's waiting for. Pizza out of the oven.
My stomach's already growling. Oh, wow.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so let's remind all the boys and girls, how long was that in the oven?
About 15 minutes.
15
About
minutes.
15 minutes.
And the oven is like at 475 to 500. You want it hot. Yeah.
All right, and this is the traditional pizza. We've learned that you can have different toppings on there.
Different toppings, different sizes, different shapes. But basically, when it's cooked, it's ready, and cut through the crust so the bottom's nice and brown.
Right.
We'll take a peek of that and see how that
It-
golden brown. Yeah. And that,
That's good.
Again, this is an Italian kitchen pizza. It's different from other pizzas because we use our special pans, and our dough can be used elsewhere in other pans and/or straight on the bricks, like you see at some of the popular restaurants that have pizza ovens in town that put them right on the bricks. Different cooking
Yes.
temperature there. So
Yeah,
there-
so now we're ready to eat.
Does the
Yeah.
ovens and the bricks, do they have different flavors to the, to the
yes
pizza?
and no, because some of the brick ovens are using wood, and some are using gas. You know, there's a chain out there that uses gas. But the wood oven, usually using red oak, it throws off a different flavor. But also, you have to realize, when you cook in a brick oven, you have to get that heat all the way down 3 to 4 to 8 inches on that brick so you can consistently put pies in there. When you're using a regular oven with pans, it's a little bit different. It comes out, the results come out the same. This is going to be a lot more pliable, not as crispy unless you overcook it, versus a brick oven at 800 degrees. And a pan oven that's at 450 to 475, it's a more even type of pastry, so to speak.
Right. I see Paul's giving me some looks like, I want to eat, I want to eat. So why don't we serve it up and see?
Yeah, okay, I'm going to put them on napkins for you guys.
Well, that's how we eat pizzas.
Yeah.
And we're, you know.
Yeah. And of course, you can always fold the pizza like that.
The
and-
different techniques of
and
eating. So
ready-
talk to us
ready
about
go.
that.
Yes.
Right. There's always techniques of eating pizza.
What are your guys' techniques?
Folding it and eating it.
Yours is folding it, eating it the same. Is that a family tradition as well?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it
how we all
is.
grew up that way. And that way you don't lose any of the ingredients. And some people that aren't as talented, let's say, or just challenged, or let's say the very first time know what to do.
Right.
A fork is fine too. You know?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that smell, wow.
That nice-
It looks
Yeah.
amazing. It's so colorful and
Yeah. Well, pepperoni is very popular. We use salami, uncured salami, by the way, which is a little more healthier.
And there again, your toppings are whatever you want to put on there.
Right.
Vegetables, it's up to you.
we've seen some really unusual things out there. I mean, it's amazing. We have now the barbecue pizzas.
Correct,
We have the
yeah.
vegetarian pizzas. So there's a variety. And all of that can be done with this recipe, just changing what's on top.
Exactly.
Correct?
That's mine. That's yours. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to eat. You guys ready?
I'm ready to give it a go.
Probably love it.
And you guys are going to use your technique, or what happens if I ate it from behind? That's a different
Well,
technique.
yeah.
All the boys
As
and girls
long as
have
you-
their
as
different
long
ways.
as you can eat it
All
any way
right.
you like.
What do you want?
Oh, very good. Just
Wow.
very good.
Wow. This is absolutely delicious. Yeah. Very nice. No, it's hard to talk with our mouth full. I want to put another bite, but
Well, we have another one cooking, so.
oh, wonderful. So, all right. So then to recap, and then the tossing. Is that a requirement with the pizza? Because that was the fun part, and I know a lot of the boys and girls were.
Not necessarily.
You don't need
You
to.
can, with the rolling pin, get it out to the size you
You can
want.
get it to the size that you
Correct,
want with
yeah,
that. That was a real fun part
Yeah,
of that.
well,
I think the boys
but
and girls really
it's
loved
always
that
fun
one.
to try, and
Absolutely.
see if you can
don't
master
see
that.
That's the traditional way of doing it. That's what,
Back
you
in
know,
the day,
we
we
watch
did.
on television. They're always doing it that way.
yeah,
In order to get it fast, in order to do it quick enough, we'd be stretching our dough out. Because we have a temperature gradient in that dough. We want to make sure it's just the right temperature, sometimes a little cooler, which these were. We want to stretch it out a little fast, and you throw it up. Throwing up centrifugal force pushes it all out, makes it nice and round.
Right.
And the restaurant it was on Palm Avenue.
Uh-huh.
When the pizzas were made, there was a big picture window with the table in front, and we would stand there and toss the pizzas. People actually came to enjoy that from the neighborhood.
So it was a
and-
show.
Exactly.
It was a
yes.
show. So you know there's
Where
so
you
many
don't see that
things that you
anymore.
can do with this pizza. I mean, it's great. So boys and girls, you can invite your friends and have a party, a pizza party, make your own personal pizzas. Thank you again, guys. The pizza was terrific, and thank you for spending some time with us and showing all the boys and girls how we can make this and the fun things we can do, having pizza parties and the different varieties. It was so educational and so delicious. So thank you.
Most welcome.
You're very welcome.
All right.
Fun to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's time to wrap up our first ever Valley PBS Family Circle Fall Festival. We had so much fun. We want to thank all of our special guests. We want to thank Miss Readwright. And remember, you can watch her every weekday with Reading Explorers right here on Valley PBS. We want to thank our friends from Chaffee Zoo, and they were here with some little critters, and so we want to thank our little critters for being here as well. We also want to thank our friends from the Fresno State Physics Department. We learned a lot, and with these science projects and the science experiments, that was so much fun. And then once again, right here to our Valley PBS kitchen, thank you again, Paul. Thank you again, Carl.
You're welcome.
Right.
This is
Very
what
nice.
it's all about, boys and girls. It's about learning. It's about having fun. It's about all these experiences, and that's what we do here with our family circle here at Valley PBS, and you can be a part of it. So if you want to join Family Circle, you can log online to valleypbs.org/Family Circle, and you can get all the information, and you can sign up to be part of Family Circle. We're going to have fun all year long, so please join Family Circle. We can't wait to see you, and we can't wait to do more exciting things just like this. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time, all right? Bye, everyone.
Happy pizza making.
Be eating.